First tonight, a breaking news alert out of Charleston. 4 people arrested in connection to the murder at the Vista View Apartments that happened early yesterday.
3 of them are men. 1 is a woman, Martez Griffin, Lisa Farabee, Tyler Farabee, and Brian Parks, all arrested a little while ago. The 3 men are charged with first-degree robbery and felony murder, while Lisa Farabee is charged with accessory to both counts. Lisa Farabee and Martez Griffin, they were picked up in Arkansas and taken into custody by state police there. The 2 others were arrested here in Charleston. We'll have more on this story on WSAZ.com and tonight at 10 and 11.
Next tonight, a plot by a Wood County man to try to take over the West Virginia government was foiled, and tonight he's in jail.
Investigators say Thomas Deegan plotted to overtake the West Virginia State Capitol today. News Channel 3's Matt Heckle joins us live outside the Capitol building. And Matt, there was extra security out there today. Everybody noticed a difference.
Yeah, Amanda, security could be seen both in and outside this Capitol building all day today after police learned about the threats where Deegan apparently talked about throwing officials out of office and even called on followers to shoot police and military personnel. In 4 conference calls this month, Thomas Deegan, a self-proclaimed sovereign citizen, is said to have plotted to go to the Capitol on Thursday and remove government officials from their offices, then taking control of the West Virginia government. According to the criminal complaint, Deegan said he would then charge those officials with treason and punish them with death. Deegan also told followers that gunfire may be necessary, saying, quote, "We are at war, and if you see the police coming up and pulling up in a vehicle, I suggest you shoot them."
It's a scary thought. Could have been shot or anything could have happened to us.
Bobby Davis was visiting the Capitol on Thursday. He was immediately struck by the amount of security on hand.
I was just out sightseeing and in the Capitol taking pictures and seen plenty of law enforcement inside.
I was kind of shocked. There's usually not that much security in there.
Law enforcement was seen both outside and inside the building Thursday, catching employees like Rachel Jones off guard.
It was a little bit scary at first because clearly something's not right. Something's wrong somewhere.
The extra security, though, just a precaution after Deegan was arrested, but a welcome sight for those who know the danger could have been all too real.
It's a big building and it's open to the public. You don't know really who is coming and going all the time, so anything could happen.
Well, Thomas Deegan is in jail tonight, Amanda. He has been charged with making threats of terrorist acts, and he is under a $300,000 cash bond.
All right, Matt, thanks so much. Right now, there is no word if anyone else will be charged in this crime.
All right, after spending 3 days in the nation's capital, Pope Francis is moving on to his next leg of his U.S. trip to New York. Now, his plane did arrive there a short time ago, and in about a half hour, you can see everyone all lined up. This is the outside of St. Patrick's Cathedral. Literally across the street is 30 Rock. Rockefeller Center is where this picture is being taken from. Pope Francis will give an evening prayer service in St. Patrick's. Again, this is a live shot at the cathedral right now. The Pope also has plans to stop at the United Nations in Madison Square Garden, as well as make a visit to the September 11th memorial tomorrow. It was earlier today that the Pope addressed Congress, talking about immigration, climate change, and a call for ending the death penalty. Afterward, he visited with a group of homeless and needy people who are fed by Catholic Charities. WSAZ's Washington Bureau Chief Jacqueline Policastro has more from today's Capitol address on Capitol Hill.
This is the first time a pope has ever come to the U.S. Capitol. House Speaker John Boehner says he's been trying to get a pope to come here for years, calling this a once-in-a-lifetime moment, a glimpse of grace.
Mr. Speaker, the Pope of the Holy See.
Pope Francis addresses members of Congress inside the House chamber.
Your one responsibility as members of Congress is to enable this country.
House Speaker John Boehner in tears as the Pope talked about climate change, abortion, the death penalty, and immigration.
We must not be taken aback by the numbers, but rather view them as persons, seeing their faces and listening to their stories.
Cheers and smiles from lawmakers and viewers outside the U.S. Capitol, where the Pope's address was broadcast live to the public on jumbotrons. The Pope Pope appeared on the Capitol balcony to bless the thousands of people gathered in the crowd.
Y les pido, por favor, a ustedes,
And I ask you all, please,
que recen por mí.
to pray for me.
Will the Pope's ideas have any real impact on the way members of Congress vote? It's tough to know. Either way, Pope Francis will go down in history as the first ever Pope to address members of Congress. Reporting at the Capitol, I'm Jacqueline Policastro.
Our very own Tim Ear is somewhere in these crowds of people that were on the mall lawn this morning, all to hear Pope Francis address that joint meeting of Congress. Now, of the tens of thousands of people packed in there, Tim ran into a dad and son from Charleston. Both were just excited to experience the pontiff in person.
It's not even about the religion. It's about the politics and the history. Look at this crowd. It's incredible. I mean, these people come from all over the place, all to share the same moment. It's so cool.
Also in the crowd of onlookers today, a group of 7 teachers and the principal from St. Joseph Catholic School in Huntington. Tim also talked to Carol Templeton, the principal at St. Joe's. Templeton says she was happy to hear the Pope tackle a wide range of issues facing Americans today, including the death penalty and protection for human life at every stage of its development.
Well, he touched on so many hot topics, difficult questions, difficult times that, you know, as a nation, as a country we have to address, but he had one very simple message, and that's to respect life, that life is precious, and that we're all responsible for life from the fetus all the way through to the elderly.
And we'll have continuing coverage of the Pope's visit to America all week long as he travels. He's in New York now, then to Philadelphia.
We have got new information on a health alert out of Cabell County. Health officials say 2 pools of mosquitoes have tested positive for West Nile virus. News Channel 3's Brad Myers joins us now with details on what this means for you and your family.
Yeah, the Cabell Huntington Health Department stresses West Nile virus has only been found in some mosquito pools here in downtown Huntington. They've yet to have any cases of people getting the virus. West Nile is a virus that affects people when they're bitten by mosquitoes carrying that virus. 2 pools of mosquitoes here in Huntington tested positive, leading health officials to warn everyone in the area. They say the majority of people who get the virus won't even get sick, but a small percentage of people, especially the elderly and those with compromised immune systems, could come down with serious illnesses.
It has varying symptoms. Maybe as many as 80% of people who get the disease will have no symptoms at all. Other people will get flu-like symptoms, but a small percentage of people will get a very severe meningitis type illness and infection around their brain that's devastating.
Unfortunately, there is no vaccine or treatment for West Nile virus. Simply avoiding mosquitoes is your best defense. That means using bug sprays like DEET or OFF, wearing long sleeves and pants, and avoiding the outdoors during peak mosquito times. That's dawn and dusk.
All right, common sense tips, Brad. Thank you very much. There's no need to panic if you happen to get bitten by a mosquito. Just again, monitor your health. If you see flu-like symptoms, and especially if you develop any kind of stiff neck or severe headache with fever, you do need to see a doctor. It is a problem calling now into some schools across the region. We told you earlier this month about bed bugs in Wayne County schools, and just last week, a Kanawha County school. But now, a school in Kentucky is dealing with its own bed bug scare, and the operative word here is scare. People are on edge. News Channel 3's Caitlin LeBeau was in Cannonsburg Elementary in Boyd County, where school officials say this is actually a very different kind of bug they found today.
Right, different but similar in size, Bill. The superintendent tells me they found 1 bed bug in an elementary school on Wednesday, and then today they found several more bugs that turned out to be small German roaches. So the school quickly took action.
An ordinary school day filled with math problems and reading. But when kids went to grab their lunch boxes, they were reaching into giant plastic bags.
This is our first time having to deal with something to this extent.
This is so hard. A little inconvenient, but a precaution the school is taking after being the latest in our area to find a bed bug.
Bed bugs is not usually a problem for us at schools.
Superintendent Brock Walter says it started with a single bed bug on Wednesday. Then today, the school found several more bugs that turned out to be baby roaches.
Those can be carried in backpacks also, or boxes or any other things. And when you have 200-300 kids coming in and out of your schools every day from a lot of different places, that this can happen.
With the Boyd County Health Department and a local exterminator keeping a close eye on the school, Walter says they will stay open. This notice was sent out to parents today, but Walter says parents and staff have voiced concern that they weren't told sooner.
We're doing the right things. We're doing the correct things. The one thing that we will change is probably the communication with the community.
Making sure to keep parents in the loop if they find any other bugs in the future.
We all want our kids to be safe. We want our staff to be safe. And we've got to be careful, and more careful probably than ever, because this problem probably isn't going to go away.
I also talked with the school's exterminator today and learned more about these bugs, so you know what to watch out for. He says the best thing you can do when your kid gets home from school is first, just inspect their backpack. You should be able to see these bugs, both bed bugs and baby roaches, are give or take about the size of an apple seed. And Bill, he says it's really not that common to find bed bugs in schools, and often not a big deal, and that these cases that we're seeing throughout our region, it's likely just a coincidence.
I don't know whether that makes parents feel better or not. Caitlin, thank you very much. But if you're checking your home, you'll likely find them in very tight spaces like seams, cracks, and crevices. The former mayor of Pratt, West Virginia is awaiting sentencing after pleading guilty to selling painkillers. Gary Fields, who's 68 years old, admitted to selling the powerful prescription painkiller oxycodone. Now, as part of the plea deal, he admitted to selling 6 pills to an informant in April. He's scheduled to be sentenced now on January 21st. In Ashland, a cardiologist accused of performing hundreds of unnecessary heart surgeries pleads not guilty to federal charges. And Dr. Richard Paulus faces 27 charges, accused of taking part in a scheme to defraud Medicare, Medicaid, and other insurers. Now, in the indictment, investigators allege the scheme lasted from 2008, when Paulus sold his practice to King's Daughters Medical Center, until 2013, when he retired. Last year, KDMC agreed to pay the Justice Department close to $41 million to resolve claims the hospital billed the government for unnecessary cardiac procedures. We've got an update tonight to that blue-green algae that makes the Ohio River unsafe for swimming for the last month, really. Tonight, the Cabell Huntington Health Department says the algae levels in the river in Huntington have really decreased, so they're giving it the all clear to resume swimming in the river again. State and local health officials signed off to lifting the no contact order with the water late this afternoon. Coming up next at 6 o'clock, a big makeover on the way for the Clay Center in Charleston. Why the board says it needs a top to bottom makeover, coming up next.
First warning weather.
Check out this time lapse over Huntington through our West Virginia Lottie weather cam, showing us some fog to start this morning, followed by hazy sunshine from some upper level cirrus clouds in the sky. But those clouds will not produce rain tonight, but they are a sign of our next weather maker getting closer to the area. And it still looks like the bulk of the rain, the steadiest rains, will fall especially south and east of the river cities. Hello, I'm meteorologist Josh Fitzpatrick. Let's get you updated on your first forecast for your Thursday night ahead. Temperatures are mild now through about sunset. A nice sunset with those high clouds during the 7 o'clock hour. We go from the 70s into the 60s by 9 and 11. 50s tomorrow morning with already a shower chance, especially south towards Pikeville, Williamson, and Logan. Currently, your 6 o'clock readings are now just shy of 80 degrees in the river cities and the Kanawha Valley. Low 70s already over the higher elevations. Throughout the day, we've seen those high-level cirrus clouds dull our blue sky and sunshine, but they're thin enough to give us a nice sunset over the next hour or so. The rain-producing clouds are well south towards North and South Carolina into Georgia, and eventually some of this rain is going to back its way more inland, giving us, at least south, a chance of rain. Overnight lows in the 50s, so mid-50s seasonable for MacArthur to Athens. A good night tonight, and most of tomorrow should be dry too in Jackson for the continuation of the Apple Festival. Eastern Kentucky tomorrow, shower chance, especially Inez, Prestonsburg to Pikeville, so barely even 70 down this way. Drier skies in Vanceburg, Greenup, and Ashland, so more like the low to mid 70s. Southern West Virginia from Williamson, Logan into the Madison area, better risk for some rain tomorrow. tomorrow. And from the Kanawha Valley, south and east, a better chance of rain and drier the farther north and west you are towards the Ohio River into Point Pleasant. Futurecast is showing us dry skies tonight. Tomorrow morning to the south and east, some rain around, and it looks like the rain will park itself just south of I-64 into tomorrow evening. So especially those football games from Huntington, Charleston south, better shot of seeing some wet conditions. Let's detail your forecast. And in your first warning report tonight, a nice sunset, a mild evening, pleasant overnight, low seasonable in the upper 50s by dawn. And your Friday forecast, increasing clouds, a cooler day, low 70s for most. Showers, especially south of the river cities into southeastern Kentucky and southern West Virginia. Same forecast for Saturday and Sunday, better risk of showers the farther south and east you are. River cities northwest, just a couple showers around, so not a complete washout. So that would be good news for the big parade in Jackson, Ohio on Saturday evening. Monday, Tuesday, a little drier and warmer, highs back to 80. Another weak front arrives on Wednesday with perhaps a few more rain showers, but overall a little cooler and a little damp at times, Bill, over the next few days.
All right, Josh, thank you. You know, in just a few days now, Huntington City Council will take a vote on raising the city's user fee from $3 to $5. This afternoon, the City Council met with the mayor to talk about the city's options. Mayor Steve Williams says they've looked at all different kinds of scenarios, but the only viable option is to raise the user fee. Councilman David Ball says that fee increase is really needed to move the city forward.
I want to see Huntington move forward, but it's just nothing I can get real excited about. This is not one of those type of ordinances that, oh, joy, joy, we've got something accomplished. Yes, we'll get something accomplished, and the money will go exactly where it's supposed to go to. But again, none of us like this fee.
We can tell you a vote on the city's user fee is expected at City Council on Monday night. New efforts to save jobs at the Portsmouth Gases Diffusion Plant. Today, Ohio Senator Sherrod Brown announced a short-term resolution to fund the cleanup at the plant through December 11th. Earlier this month, hundreds of workers at the plant received layoff notices after funding from the Department of Energy was cut off. We reached out to the company overseeing the cleanup. A spokesperson says they're not sure what that short-term resolution means for the project and its workers. They say they're waiting for guidance from the Department of Energy. A much-needed hefty revamp is coming to the Clay Center Museum. Board members approved a $14 million renovation project. Clay Center President Al Najjar says they need to replace all the exhibits and revamp everything to attract more guests from all over the state. The Clay Center Museum opened in 2003. That's hard to believe. It seems just like yesterday, really. And according to the director, the technology is all still the same since the Clay Center opened. Still ahead, Urban Meyer on his quarterback decision and getting a freshman ready for his first road game. Keith's in next.
Good evening, Keith Morehouse with sports. Ohio State's still #1, but the Buckeyes' sputtering offense has been the talk of Columbus and beyond this week. Neither Cardale Jones nor J.T. Barrett effectively able to move the offense against Northern Illinois. Urban Meyer making the call on Saturday's game, and that call will be that Cardale Jones will remain the starting quarterback. Barrett will remain his backup. But he went on to say this offense thing isn't all on the quarterbacks.
It's not him. It's the offense right now is in a funk. So every time you say, it's like when the quarterback, you say, boy, what a great game by the quarterback. You say, no, it was a great game by the offense. When you're not getting protected, when you're not balanced and not controlling the line of scrimmage, when you're not perimeter blocking very good, the quarterback struggles.
Marshall's Thundering Herd will face what has turned into a pretty good Kent State defense on Saturday at Dick Stadium. The Herd has won the last 10 meetings with the Flashes, but they go into a road game with freshman quarterback Chase Litton at the controls. The offensive line keeping that in mind.
As an offensive line, our standpoint, we look at who's in front of us, not who's behind us. No matter what running back's back there, someone goes down, we got to still do our job, and no matter who's playing quarterback, we got to keep them off the ground. So that's our mindset as an offensive line.
We're going to have the fan base behind us, but it's not going to be the same as it is here. We know that we just have to do the same thing we did last week, prepare the same. We have to go on the same game plan, be confident, and do what we usually do.
West Virginia Mountaineers will have a packed house for their game with Maryland on Saturday. They've got a chance to open up 3-0, and believe it or not, the Mountaineers haven't forgotten that 37-0 loss to the Terrapins 2 years ago.
2 years ago, you know, we just felt embarrassed. We felt disgusted with ourselves, and you know, as a team, we weren't in a good state. And right now, last year, it taught us a lot about ourselves and about ourselves as a team, and just taught us that we can finish games, and you know, that's all we needed to focus on, was finishing.
That game is at Mountaineer Field. Maryland 2-1, West Virginia 2-0. Maryland beat Richmond in the opener, but lost to Bowling Green 48-27, and then went on to beat the Bulls of USF 35-17. Big college soccer game tonight, Schoenbaum Stadium in Charleston. Concord Mountain Lions coming in to visit #1 in Division II, the University of Charleston Golden Eagles. They're now 5-0. They've outscored the opposition this season 17-2. We'll have highlights for you coming up at 10 and 11. The news with a wrap after this.
All right, good weather conditions for any and all outdoor evening plans. Temperatures by dawn will be in the upper 50s. Rain showers, especially south of I-64. Drier conditions to the north. Low 70s for high temperatures on average tomorrow, especially if you stay dry. Rain shower chance mainly south and east of Huntington and Charleston through the weekend. Highs a little below average in the lower 70s, lows in the 50s, and then a little warmer on next Monday and Tuesday, back to almost 80 degrees. In fact, we should hit 80 by Tuesday. And then another weak front will give us a few showers on Tuesday night into Wednesday. Doesn't look like a whole lot of rain, but the bottom line, Friday into the weekend, the farther south you are across southeast Kentucky into West Virginia, a better shot for some rain. And Kellyanne will update that forecast tonight at 10 and 11.
All right, Josh, thanks, and thank you for joining us tonight. NBC Nightly News is up next.
That's right. A reminder, your news is always on the WSAZ app and WSAZ.com. Have a great evening.